All right, buckle up, because today we're taking a deep dive into the world of Michel Goulet. And from the looks of the material you sent, project descriptions, music, even AI reflections, wow, this is going to be quite a ride.
You know, what's immediately apparent is his defiance of any kind of neat little category.
Yeah.
He's not just an artist or a tech person or a cultural ambassador. It's like he's all of them all at once and then some.
Seriously, it's like he looked at the resume template and said, nah, I need more slashes. Sound engineer for these huge festivals, check. Cultural development officer, check. College AV technician, also check. Oh, and by the way, he makes music with a 3-bass setup. Who does that?
Yeah, that 3-bass detail, that caught my eye too. I mean, talk about playful innovation. And his bio on the Baz Luhrmann website, it mentions how he started with drums, then moved to bass. And I wonder, like, were the standard 6 strings just not enough?
He looked at the guitar and said, "Hold my sonic beverage. I need more bass to unleash my creativity." But yeah, no, you're right. Music has been a constant throughout his life, starting with those early instruments and then, bam, sound engineer at that legendary Montreal club. I mean, talk about a formative experience.
Oh, yeah. That kind of early exposure on the technical side while also performing, it speaks to this pattern that you see throughout his career, this fusion of creativity and technical know-how. It's not just about making music, it's about understanding how sound itself works, how to really shape it.
So that brings us to his relationship with technology, which, judging from these sources, is constantly evolving. This is not someone who shies away from new tools. No, he dives right in, head first.
Exactly. You can kind of trace this trajectory, from those early days of audio engineering where it was all about the analog equipment, right? To his embrace of all these digital tools in his more recent work. And then there's the AI experimentation, which is, that's where it gets really interesting.
The AI stuff is, well, it's mind-blowing. I mean, he's using AI in his Baz Luhrmann project, but not just to, compose the music, but for the lyrics, too.
Mm-hmm.
There's this quote in his bio. He says, recently, I have been experimenting with artificial intelligence to write lyrics. It's like he's having a conversation with the algorithm, letting it spark these ideas he might not have considered otherwise.
Yeah, and what's intriguing is how at ease he seems with this kind of collaboration, between the human and the artificial. He's not afraid of the tech at all.
Right.
He sees it as this extension of his own creative potential.
Which makes you wonder, what does that sound like, you know? That collaboration. I know. For one, I've got to hear some of this AI-generated music. But first, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about this other passion of his, cultural development. So we've got this musical mad scientist, right, whipping up sonic experiments with AI. But then there's this whole other side, this champion of culture bringing communities together through his work. It's pretty amazing.
And the range is what's really remarkable. I mean, he can go from working on these projects in smaller towns like La Valtrie to, collaborating with big names like the Montreal Jazz Festival. Talk about range.
It's like he's got this knack for adapting to any environment, any scale, and he always seems to find a way to make an impact. And you mentioned La Valtrie. In these project descriptions, there's something called the Maison des Contes et Légendes, the House of Tales and Legends. It sounds magical. What did he do there?
Well, he was really instrumental in making the museum more interactive, And these days you might think, okay, interactive museums, that's pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
But this was different. He was ahead of the curve, finding new ways to engage visitors, especially, the younger crowd, get them thinking, get them imagining.
So it's like he's taking this technical wizardry, whether it's, sound engineering or even AI, and he's using it to enhance those human experiences, whether it's, music, storytelling, cultural immersion. It's fascinating.
Exactly. Blending the technical and the creative to create something bigger than the sum of its parts. It's not just about the technology. It's about how we use it to connect with each other on a deeper level.
Which reminds me, another thing that pops up in these sources is his belief in mentorship. He seems just as passionate about sharing what he knows as he is about learning new things.
And what's fascinating is that it's not just a one-way street, right? It's not just him imparting wisdom. He's incredibly open to being mentored himself, especially when it comes to AI and all these new technologies that are, popping up all the time.
Wait, so he's learning about cutting-edge tech from people who are, potentially decades younger than him? That's incredible. It's like that whole concept of reverse mentorship. It's not about these traditional hierarchies of experience anymore. It's about recognizing that, hey, everyone's got something valuable to teach.
Exactly. It speaks to a certain humility, don't you think? And a real thirst for knowledge. He gets it. He understands that the best way to stay relevant, to stay innovative, is to never stop being a student. And that's a powerful message, really. But, beyond all the accomplishments, all the career stuff, I'm curious, what do these sources tell us about Michel Goulet, the person?
Yeah, beyond the resume, who is this guy?
Well, from the profiles, the excerpts you sent, he comes across as this incredibly vibrant personality, creative, obviously, but also passionate, a natural communicator, but also, and this is key, someone who doesn't take himself too seriously. There are glimpses of, a playful irreverence, a sharp wit. I bet he's a lot of fun at a party.
It's like he's the life of the party, but also the one who can explain the science behind how the music works while cracking jokes at the same time.
Exactly. And honestly, I think those qualities, the adaptability, the humor, the ability to connect with people, I think those are just as crucial to his success as, any technical skill or artistic talent. It's the human element that really shines through.
So we've got Michel Goulet, right? Multi-talented, tech-savvy, embraces AI, a champion for mentorship, and, oh yeah, loves a good joke. It's a lot, but in the best way possible. But the question is, what can we, the listeners, take away from all of this? What resonates?
One of the biggest takeaways, at least for me, is how Michel's career path just blows that whole climb the ladder metaphor out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, his career is more like a jungle gym, right? He's climbing, swinging, exploring all these different paths as he goes.
Yeah. It's like he's living proof that you can have it all these different passions, embrace new skills along the way, and just build this totally unique, portfolio of experiences.
It really is the embodiment of the whole portfolio career idea.
Yeah.
He's not defined by one single title, one profession. He's a sound engineer, A&D, a cultural developer, AD, a musician, AD, an AI experimenter, and somehow he does it all with this infectious energy.
It really makes you wonder, how does he do it? How does he stay so energized, with such a diverse range of things going on?
I think a big part of it is his adaptability and this underlying commitment to always be learning. He's not afraid to just dive into something new, whether it's a new tech, experimenting with AI, or even seeking out mentorship from anyone, really.
And that's something I think we can all, try to bring to our own lives. It's not about, the specific skills, but that mindset of, okay, what can I learn today? That openness to keep growing.
Absolutely. It's that growth mindset, recognizing that learning, it never really stops. And honestly, being open to those unexpected, detours and plot twists that inevitably pop up in life.
Which, brings us back to that fascinating intersection of AI and creativity. Michel's use of AI in his music is it's a perfect example of how technology can be this tool for human expression, not this thing that's trying to replace us.
It's not about creating this artificial art. He's using it as a collaborator, a way to just, push his own creative boundaries, see what's sonically possible.
And I think that's a really empowering message. It's not, this man versus machine narrative. It's about finding ways to work together to amplify each other's strengths and ultimately to create something truly extraordinary.
It's about harnessing the power of technology, but in a way that serves our human potential.
And on that note, listener, we're going to leave you with this, something to think about. Michel once described his creative process as very intuitive, often taking a simple loop and turning it into a finished track in just hours. So what if we all approached our work, our projects, our lives even, with that same sense of playful experimentation and immediacy? What could we create? What could we achieve? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Michel Goulet, a true inspiration for anyone who dares to defy definition and embrace that journey of lifelong learning.